Hey, 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 Clitorati. Please welcome back feminine empowerment expert, Tantra love, sex, and intimacy coach, and certified spiritual psychologist, the pussy priestess herself, Josefina Bashout.
Hi.
She's here today to talk to us about spiritual psychology, so we're going to ask her our top questions.
Thanks so much for coming back, Josefina.
What?
Yay!
You're like our new in-house favorite sexpert.
I know. The day that we're recording this is like the fourth. We like coaxed her in with doing one episode. Now this is like our fourth piece of like content we've created. With like, you want to do one more thing with us?
You know, nothing lights
like,
me up
crying
more than being in
laughing.
conversations like this.
Yeah.
Having
So-
breakthroughs. Yeah, it's amazing.
So what exactly is spiritual psychology, and how did you get into it? And can you just explain to us a bit of the world of it and how it relates to all of the other areas of expertise that you have, like Tantra and sex magic, and how they intertwine with each other?
So yeah, spiritual psychology, for those who aren't aware of spiritual psychology, it's its own world of teachings and learnings. And one of the biggest schools that's out there, that's the pioneer for spiritual psychology, is USM, so the University of Santa Monica. And the spiritual psychology program takes psychology principles and we put it through the lens of spirituality. So it takes psychology through the lens of and the experience of the spiritual aspect. So one of the really big principles in spiritual psychology is we really understand the differentiation point between the soul line and the goal line, where psychology, it's about the psyche and the mind and how we work and how we operate. But in the context of the spiritual psychology, we are able to actually break it down in a way of seeing from our psyche, as well as our spiritual component, our emotional component, our energetic component. How are we evolving? Where is our evolutionary? Where is our triggers? And how can we truly make life happen for us, not to us? And it focuses upon the goal line, which is the physical world, 3D physical world, about the goals that we have in life, relationships, fulfilling relationships, love life, sex life, money, career, family, beauty, health, physical aspects. But then it also creates an arc trajectory upward with a big emphasis on our spiritual awakening, our spiritual growth and our spiritual evolution and development, along with the energetic growth, the evolution of any deficiencies that are happening or excesses that are happening within our chakra system. So the chakra system, for those who aren't aware of the chakra system, maybe your community is, they are these energy centers inside of our body. So we look at the energy centers through the spiritual lens. We look at the energy centers through the psychological lens, and we also look at it through the emotional lens. So with spiritual psychology, it's really incredible for helping to ground in and integrate more of the embodied learnings versus just, let's say, traditional therapy, where you may go and focus upon trauma or things in the past, and there's a lot of talk that goes on. With spiritual psychology, it is experiential learning. So it is a big emphasis, again, secondary, that you have all the inner resources that you need to handle your life circumstances inside of you. You've got everything. You've got all the answers. You've also got all the problems that you create inside of you. So awakening to the fact that we are creating our entire life experience, and remembering that we have all the tools that we need to either make life miserable or make life magical. And that through the lens of our perception, we're either seeing the world as tragic or we're seeing the world as magic. It is through our filtration system. And from our soul's perspective, what we're here to learn. So I love that one of the principles is that everything's happening for us, not to us. And if we can adopt that, we can shift our lens of perception in life, in relationships, especially in everything, of how is this happening for me? What is my, from a soul line level, right? The soul line, not the goal line, but from the soul line perspective, what is my soul, my spirit trying to help assist me in learning by giving me this crazy fucking challenge right now. It's assisting me somehow. I don't know how. I think I don't know how, but we actually do. We do. When we really
amazing.
tune down and tune in and get real about it, everything is happening for our spiritual growth, our spiritual awakening, and our evolution, the shift in consciousness. And consciousness is not just the mind and the psyche. Consciousness is also a part of our spirit. Our soul has a consciousness to it. Our soul has an imprint to it. And it's important to notice that we all may have a very similar experience. You may experience something, Lindsay, that Katie experiences. I may experience something that you're experiencing in Madison. And all four of us maybe could all have the same experience of something happening, someone crossing the street or watching a sunset. But the way that our soul is viewing it, the way that our soul is experiencing it, then the way that our soul is connected to our body or not as connected to our body shifts the inner experience that we're having. So no two experiences are ever the same, even if we're looking at exactly the same thing, because of our interpretation of reality.
Woo! This is some deep shit.
Yeah. So there's a couple things, and I have a couple questions for you that are coming up for me. So obviously you have a huge background in tantra and sex magic and all the other work you've done. So my question, and I think I can speak for all of us through our experience on Clit Talk. There's definitely a spiritual element to your sexuality. And so I guess my question is twofold. How does what you've learned through spiritual psychology transmute into how have you seen it map onto the sexuality? And then my other question for you, I know you talk about the soul having consciousness. I have had the experience, and I'm a vulva owner, so I can only speak to having a pussy, that my pussiness has a consciousness. And
yes, she does.
Can you speak to that?
Yes, she does. I'm going to speak to your first point in regards to the soul and sex. So our sexuality is spirituality. We have my personal story. If you ever go back and listen to my very first episode on here, right? Episode 11. I talk about my spiritual awakening through my pussy. That was the avenue, was through healing my sexual trauma that I awakened spiritually to the greatness of who I am. So when I did my studies in advanced spiritual psychology, especially when I was doing conscious health and healing, we really dived deep into the energetics of our body, of our chakra systems. And I saw the direct correlation with the work I was doing in Tantra, which is somatic movement and clearing work, breath work, forgiveness work, transmutation work of liberation of no shame, how that lives in the same aspect when we link it to our emotional body, when we link it to the chakra systems that are actually storing it. No surprise, guilt, shame, scarcity, fear, it's stored in our pussy. It's stored in our genitals. Root
shocker.
level. What a shocker. Shocker, shocker, shocker. Right? And that actually was backed up through spiritual psychology, through the teachings, through the lens, to understand that it's so important for us to heal the trauma at the baseline, because we can't actually create a world of magic if our foundation is trauma based, is fear based, is scarcity based.
That makes so much sense, because, you know, the three of us met in a transformational program that I would say is very much in your mind. It's not somatic. It's very much intellectual. And I've done different things. We've all done different things over the years. And Clit Talk and really embracing the spiritual side of my sexuality, I always say it was the thing that brought everything together.
I have goosebumps.
And so for you to say it like that is the root.
Yes.
I'm like, that makes sense, because the third eye cannot function without the root.
No,
and that was the missing piece for me.
Yes, yes. And we can't fully open our hearts to deep layers of intimacy if we're contracted and we're holding at the root level, right? The foundation of all of our existence. And if we discard or negate the disempowerment that's happening there, or the deficiency or the excess, right? And that's what we talked about in the spiritual psychology as well in the advanced program, is where it can be deficient or in excess. So hence why there can also be sex addiction, right? There's the excess where the chakra center is just blown open and there's such an excess of flow that it becomes an addiction, which then doesn't allow the person to ever transcend and heal that to go into their higher heart, or to go into really the third eye of creating, envisioning their world, because there's a big drain and a big leak of energy that doesn't actually allow the person to build. They're constantly trying to replenish. And if we're constantly trying to replenish, that's scarcity, my loves. You can't actually build upon something when you're trying to replenish and replace things. Abundance is upon building upon building upon building. It's building upon, it's adding more. So looking at the deficiency was a really powerful part of the practice, to notice, where am I in excess or where am I in deficiency? Deficiency is shutting down. Deficiency is trauma. Deficiency is also in the root chakra level, not being comfortable with physical touch. Like being so tight and so contracted, you know, having someone, like, you just don't want to be touched. You're not turned on. You don't have the sex drive. You're just shut down at that level, right? That's, again, that ties into tantric work. So being able to understand what's happening emotionally, psychologically, that's preventing us from being able to enjoy pleasure or relax at the root level, you know? And so having this background, I've been able to help women who feel like they can't get wet, who feel like they're just having really tight, painful sex, that they don't want to have sex. And what I found is, using not just the tantric practice, but the psychological background, the spiritual background, a lot of them that came to me don't feel safe in their body. How many humans on the planet don't want to inhabit their body? They want to leave their body. They want to transcend their body. They are not comfortable being in the body, or their spirit wants to leave the body due to trauma. So to actually create a new psychological programming that's developed on safety, love, compassion, acceptance, forgiveness, root level. And then we bring that up to second chakra, which is, then how are we relating? What is the quality of our relationships? What is the quality of the exchange? Because not only being a womb owner, right, having a womb, but we have a gut, right? So there's also that portion of creating our lives, and the way that we're relating to everything in the world is an exchange. Tantra, we're exchanging energy through sexuality, or we're exchanging energy with ourselves, or we're moving energy, or we're learning our emotions, we're doing somatic releases, right? We're allowing ourselves to feel liberated, to feel free, to feel expanded. Yes, for sure. And sometimes, from my perspective, what I've seen is it can go so far in an extreme of, oh, I'm so tantric and I'm floaty and like everything's amazing. I'm just a tantric goddess and let's just soul gaze and do all these things. And I'm like, yes,
we call that toxic positivity.
I call it the wounding of the tantric community, and I'm just gonna call it like I see it, where there isn't enough rooting and grounding to balance all of what's going on in the high chakras. Because I see that when I did Kundalini training and when I was in Tantra practices, there is part where you want to get really, really high a lot. Like you get high on your own supply of your own energy. But what I really appreciated in the spiritual psychology teachings was making sure that we're not spiritually bypassing the lessons by just trying to live in pleasure, and by ignoring the importance of having a physical body in the 3D world to achieve our goals in the goal line. and having that be just as important to be nourished for radical radiance, for health, right? For wellness and well-being on all fronts, but so that we can really embody the qualities that we desire, that we're manifesting. How do we embody those qualities? That's what, I offer, and that's what the background of spiritual psychology does, is it helps you not only visualize what those new embodiments are, what your new version of yourself is. Like there's a beautiful practice that I do with my women, and it's helping them create their own feminine icon. Who is your own ideal feminine icon, right? So when I coach my women, it's like, don't go looking out, at all these Instagram models or superstars or past people. Let's pull the qualities that are attracted. And let's remember that these qualities exist inside of you already, but through your experience of it, they're just dormant. And maybe you've got some deeper programs. Maybe there is no trauma, but maybe you've got some genetic coding, right? Epigenetics that was passed down to you generationally, right? As women, it's 7 generations behind us, right? We've got all that coding in a cellular level of what they went through inside of us. So maybe we have these suppressed genetic codings that we're like, we can never be that person. I can't be that person. I look at my parents, I look at my family. I can't do that. I might want to do some tantra. I might want to be liberated and free, but like everything in my lineage line shows me this is not possible and not safe. So doing the work to actually go generationally back and see, wow, epigenetically, I can actually change my genetics. What is the imprint in the code in my psyche that is generationally attached that I can intentionally work with untethering and unwiring that then would support my liberation?
We can see you in the mirror.
I have to get close.
We can still see you. Don't take your towel off.
Katie, maybe turn your camera off, Katie. Okay.
Usually we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but here at Clit Talk.
Keep your camera off, Katie.
Okay.
Perfect timing.
Those of you listening,
Katie's my camera off.
Katie has a big mirror behind her, and her husband just
Came out with a towel.
He's wearing a towel.
He's gone now.
Okay.
We're doing a remodel, so I now work in our bedroom.
Yeah.
So apologies.
Perfect. I mean, we are
So
talking
awesome.
about the quality of the exchange of our relationships.
Yeah,
Like, you guys have a great quality of exchange, right? Comfortability. You can be yourself. Like, that's a great quality exchange.
It was. Oh man. Okay.
Wow.
Thanks for that sidebar, Ethan.
You're welcome.
But Josefina, thank you so much. I guess just one more quick question. So for anyone who is listening or watching this right now and is like, holy shit, this conversation really resonates with me, what would be the first step, or what is a resource we can direct them to really, like, they're like, I need this? Like, what would be an easy first step for someone who's like being hit with that truth bomb right now?
I would say, my first go-to, because I am a teacher of this, is to reach out for a consultation, take that first step to have a consult and just talk to someone about it who's well educated, who could support you. And then from there, I can give more specific resources to whatever's coming up, right? Because there are tons of books, but the whole principles around spiritual psychology, which I love, and all the other teachings, is it's experiential. Stuff you're not going to learn in a book. You can't just read a book to get it, So I would say that, book a free consult with me personally, and I can help assist you and guide you, in that right way. If it's a program that you're interested in, I do believe that they may be doing entry levels online at USM. So check out the University of Santa Monica. They are bringing their programs online, which are much longer programs, but that is a good resource, and look them up, because Ron and Mary, my master teachers, I'm so grateful to them. They are masters, like truly Jedi masters. And I feel so honored to be one of their students.
Wow, so incredible. Thank you so much for coming on and just really quickly educating us and introducing us to this concept of spiritual psychology and how it really transmutes to our overall well-being and balance as pleasure positive humans. It's really, really like it just hits home, really true. Just for our listeners, can you remind them if they did want to reach out to you, what is the best way to get in contact with you, to follow you, to find you?
Find me on all the things. You can find me at my website, josefinabashout.com. And you can find me on Instagram as well at Pussy Priestess, 3 S's in pussy. And I would love to reach out to, love to connect with you all. And please do, reach out to me. Those are the best 2 avenues that you can access me on.
Fantastic. As always, thank you so much. We will also in our show notes, of course, list. We have done a multitude of episodes with Josefina. At this point, we will list them all in our show notes, as well as the best way to get in touch with her. She's incredible. Do reach out to her if this conversation resonated with you. And as always, Clitorati, we're going to see you next Tuesday. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Bye.